Welcome to the Irish Pagan School podcast. Your hosts are authors and co-founders of the Irish Pagan School here in County Waterford, Ireland, Lora O'Brien and John O'Sullivan. Fáilte.
Hi, this is Lora O'Brien from the Morrigan Academy and the Irish Pagan School. And I'm here to talk to you about the Morrigan Intensive, which is open for enrolment for 2024 for another 4 days now. So some of the questions that have come up are actually really good. So I thought I'd just hop on and give some answers to them because I know that they're very common concerns that people have. So one of our students said, I'm concerned about the time commitment required for a 6-month intensive program. With my demanding job and other personal responsibilities, I'm not sure if I can dedicate enough time to fully engage with the coursework. Now, you can get through the coursework in 2 to 3 hours a week, right? Most people give it about 4 or 5 hours a week just to kind of give it the full experience. And there is extra resources and reading and stuff that could take you longer if you really wanted to devote. So you're talking about like an hour every 2 to 3 days, or an hour a day for like 4 to 5 days out of the week. So you can definitely get through it. Most people honestly can fit that into a schedule somewhere along the way, right? And we do have built into it kind of rest and reflection weeks. So if you do get behind, you can catch up, right? So you're in this for about 26 weeks. But one of the brilliant things about this is that every week you're doing a little check-in and you're checking in with the private group. Now, this group is not on Facebook. It's our privately hosted group. So it's very safe, very secure. People can get quite personal in it. And people really get to know each other. Our students every year get to know each other. And it's a brilliant support and accountability. So there's a lot built in through the course and through the program to keep us on track as we work through it, because it is a commitment. It's an intensive, and that's why it's called that, right? So you can get through it in an hour or two. If you only have an hour or two to give every week, you could give maybe 20 minutes a day. Like an hour or two a week, you're giving up 2 TV episodes, or you're, getting up an hour or two early, right? But again, if you have a little bit more time, you can give 4 to 5 hours. Right? So that's the time commitment side of things. Somebody else asked me, are courses on pagan spirituality only for those who are already deeply knowledgeable and experienced in the subject? Or are they, those that are more academically inclined? Now, we do have a big range of people, from people with PhDs and masters and, degrees in Celtic studies and all of that. Now, what most of them find is that the work that they do with me is just as good as any college course that they've ever taken for a start, if not better. I've definitely heard that it's better. However, if you have no academic background, if you don't have any experience with paganism, with the Mórrígan, you can still do the intensive, because we want everybody to be on the same page. So we really walk people through bit by bit and step by step, so that if you are more experienced, if you are more academically inclined, you will be starting on the same page as everybody else, and you will have a nice, easy kind of ramp up into it. And obviously, if you're a beginner, then you will have that as well. But it means that everybody is going through the same processes. And again, I refer you back to that week by week accountability. There's a lot of support within the peer group from people who do have more experience maybe with that side of things, either the paganism or the academics, and very much from just people who are just there with you and, going through the same things you are. So whatever stage in your journey personally you're at this point, the Morrigan Intensive actually caters for that and is really built for you. So it's very important that you don't get discouraged, right? And again, everything that I teach is built on a 3 pillars model. So we learn, we experience, and we integrate. So whichever part of that you're more experienced with yourself, you have more comfort with. Some people learn more easily. Some people, are more experiential. That's okay. And then all of that is integrated. So all of those are covered as the absolutely basic fundamental model of every single thing I teach. And the Morrigan Intensive is no exception to that. In fact, I think I've kind of done a deep dive more into that model for teaching and learning and experiencing and integrating than I have in any other of my programs, because of course we go over 6 months. So, there's a lot more time to really deep dive into things. So again, wherever you are, wherever you're starting, that's okay, right? So how long will it take to complete this course, and how long do I have access? That's another common question. So we run over 6 months. It's 26 weeks. So our first week's content goes out mid-June, right? So this is why we run the enrollment beforehand. We only open once a year. So this is your only chance. The next 4 days, if you don't enroll in the next 4 days, you're going to have to wait another year, right? Now, we have resources at the Morrigan Academy. If you're watching this within that 4-day period, you can sign up with the link directly below. And if it's after that period and the enrollment is closed down, that's going to take you to a waiting list, right, for 2025. Now, if you're on the waiting list for 2025, it means that you have first access to scholarship places, because we run quite a few scholarship places every year, with, options to moderate and to help out in the community and all of that stuff, or just straight scholarships. You don't have to do any of that either. You don't have to earn your scholarship place. But actually most people do volunteer, so it's very nice to see that. So we have that 6 months to go through it together. And then there's an additional 5 months. So again, if something happens to you, your life changes, because, that does happen. Watch the reviews on this channel as well. You'll see. But if something happens and you get completely off track, what we suggest that people do is just dive right back in. If it's within that 6 months, people just dive right back in, because it's most important to kind of start where you are and just go through it. So it doesn't matter if you're a week behind, a month behind, it doesn't matter. Just start where you are and go through the program, say from week 10, if that's where you're at, right? And then you'll finish the course then. And again, you'll have that 5 months then to go back through the material, to go back through the content. You'll retain the group access. We do another further studies program. If people want to hop on there for those 5 months, that's fine. It's a small group, so it's very limited places. And that helps people take things further if they want to after the Morrigan Intensive, but that's obviously very optional. But that 5 months is often where people who have fallen behind, usually through no fault of their own, in fairness, like it's not a failing, life happens. This is, again, an intensive program. So while we give as much support and as much structure as we possibly can to get everybody through these 6 months on our, on the same schedule and with the accountability every week and all of that and the support, you do have options then for, again, another whole 5 months after that. Now, we run it annually. So it is, if you enroll now for the class of 24, what you're going to be getting is access for the class of 24. I used to do forever access and people just never finish the course. And that's not what we're here for, right? It is my commitment to make sure that people get through this course. So you have 11 months, 11 and a half months, basically, it works out at access to this course when you enroll year by year, right? So another one that comes up is, do I have to have Irish ancestry to enroll or get the full benefits from the 6-month Morrigan Intensive? And no, you absolutely don't. Your connection is your own business. And we find it's quite racist to presume that, everybody, and quite elitist to presume that everybody who is going to be interested in our teachings is going to have like Irish ancestry. Now, many do, and that's great, but it doesn't give you any special privileges, right? If you haven't grown up in the culture of Ireland, there is so much that you are going to really have to kind of align yourself. And this is why we encourage people to go to native sources. It doesn't have to be us. There are other Irish creators, other Irish teachers. We actually host a lot of them at the Irish Pagan School. And that's why we built that. We wanted a platform for different Irish voices, not just me or John. And that is basically our life mission. But we also we have a lot of recommended resources for other Irish source material as well. So it's really important when you're outside of a source culture to go back to the roots and to learn about that culture from native people. So That's the important side of things, not whether you have a 23andMe certificate that says you are, 54% Irish. The science on those is a bit whack anyway. So, it's a bit weird. But you do not have to have Irish ancestry. Now, whatever ancestry you do have, over at the Irish Pagan School, we do work with ancestry and lineage. Ancestry is part of Irish pagan traditions and ancestry honouring. So that is a part of it. It can be a part of your practice, definitely. But we don't just work with bloodlines. We also work with social and spiritual ancestry. And those are just as important to us. And we recognize and honor them just as strongly as we do any kind of blood or DNA connection you may have to Ireland. Now, how will the intensive accommodate my busy schedule, right? This is going to be up to you. This is a question that comes up like, what are you going to do to help me? And it's really the wrong attitude to be going into the intensive with. And, I'm here with a program open for enrollment. You think this is a sales video. It's actually more to make sure that the people who end up in the course are aware that you have to do the work, right? I've talked a lot about support. I've talked a lot about accountability. Those things are absolutely in place. But ultimately, it's you sitting down to do this work, right? Nobody is going to be holding your hand either. So if you're ready to make a commitment and to deepen your relationship with the Mórrígan, there is nothing else like this available. And this is the program that I created because I never had anybody to teach me how to be a Morrigan priest. Now, we don't initiate people into the priesthood, but if you were looking to be some kind of priest of the Morrigan or dedicate or devote yourself to the Morrigan, there is a choice for that at the end of the program. And often people choose not. They go through this 6 months, they give it their all, and they find out that, their connection with the Morrigan is, while deep and relevant, is not a forever connection, is not something that they want to pursue any further. They've explored it and they've done it. And this is absolutely the best way to find that out, without wasting your time or hers. So if you feel that this might be right for you, again, there is a link below with the full details of the course. You'll see what we put into the 6 months. You'll see reviews and testimonials. You'll see all of that stuff that you need to understand, and of course how much it costs, and all of that stuff is there. So we are open for enrollment for 4 more days. So if you're interested, make sure that you check it out. And if you are watching this after enrollment has closed, I do apologize. I have done my best to make sure that people know we enroll in June every year. So you'll start, when you're on the mailing list, you'll start hearing things about it in May. So whether you're at the Irish Pagan School or you're in the Morrigan Academy, but if you are interested in scholarship and, first notification and alumni places and all the rest of it, make sure that you join the waiting list for 2025 if we're outside the enrollment period. Okay. So slán go fóill, and I will see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a positive review in your podcast listener. Then head over to irishpaganschool.com and enroll in one of our free or paid courses. Slán go fóill, and we will see you next time.